All right, it is Monday, and it's time for our weekly update video from your friends at the Nautilus Drydocks. Important things. We got haircuts.
Oh yeah, we got haircuts. I didn't know we had
We
more
got
today.
we got haircuts. Feeling a lot better, and got new shop
shoes?
got new shop shoes. Where did they go? There they are. Slip-on shop shoes. So yeah, they're Crocs, and they have hot peppers on them. So very cool. What did we do this morning? So it's coming up on 11 here. So I spent the morning working on some digital files for Dolphin class submarine, Israeli Dolphin class submarine for a customer. We have a whole bunch of packages going out. We got a bunch of USPS over there, and a bunch of these going out here. UPS. Whenever the UPS guy shows up. He's really good though, our new UPS guy, since we moved here. Logan's working on the salon. We're getting really close. He's going to be doing carpets and fountains.
The carpet is in. It's been soaked in epoxy, so I just need to let that solidify, and that'll hold the specimen table in. I've been working on the fountain here. I've got to go ahead and glue it and paint it real quick and drill holes so I can mount it.
And then I think once we glue the overhead pipes in, we'll do maybe a little dry brushing on the rivets just to pop them out a little bit. I think we might put some, once the carpet dries, we'll hit it with some flat, clear lacquer so it's not shiny. Don't need shiny carpets. I am working on wiring for the propeller, and I'll be installing all the LED lights next. And then once we're done that, we're going to clean this whole area up because it's a disaster once we get to the painting part. So that's good. T-Max board came in over the weekend, so I don't know if we're going to get to it today. Hopefully we will. Try and install that. Running into problems paying for sending a PayPal to Engel. But Gregor said he's going to ship out the new periscope module for me today regardless. So that's cool. And I mean, I'm still going to pay for it, obviously. So Typhoon, Nautilus. That's pretty well the focus. Type 7 got shipped out. That's one of the boats over there. Nacken got sold. Super excited about that. That's 2 of the boxes out there as well. And then in the meantime, working on this stem boat. We got the 2 parts together, more parts on the printer. That's going, and I need to find some time and repair the poor center console on my plane. It's all cracked and broken and nasty, and a new one is probably about $18,000, so we'll glue it and make it look nice and pretty again. Lots going on. All right, we're rumbling right along here. Nautilus is basically ready for installation for the salon. I got all the LED lights are installed. I've masked off all the windows on the top. Waiting for word back from the guy that commissioned me to build this. I don't know if he wants raised breathers or lowered breathers. I emailed him a couple days ago. He never got back to me. I'm going to just have to make a call, and he'll have to live with it if he doesn't get back to me. Logan's finishing up the salon, which is looking pretty darn awesome. Did some, what did we do there with the carpets and stuff?
We layered them with epoxy before installing them, and then we went back over it with some matte clear to kind of take away the shine, because not sure if everyone can see. One has been freshly installed, and it looks almost fluorescent with how shiny it is.
Yeah.
Whereas the other is nice and...
Yeah, it looks exactly like a carpet. Yeah, that's going to look pretty sweet. Yeah, you did some panel highlighting too with a...
Yep, speaking of, I was going to use some on the fountain, because right now the fountain kind of looks untextured, so I figure if I use some panel and I just hit like the inside corner, it'll look more like a fountain and less...
And then once all that's put together, lights, right?
Yep. And that should only be another couple minutes. All I need to do is basically just put this in. I've already got some drops of thick inside. All I have to do is put it in, and then anchor it by hitting the corners, and then everything's in.
Ready to drop. Yeah, final fitment. We're going to have to probably, in my experience, we'll have to do some grinding down here to make because the wires, you can see those down here, they kind of like stick out into that area, but it's all good. It's not like I haven't built this before about a dozen times. Typhoon is on the bench again. Here's our new board, looking shiny, pretty awesome. So this old stupid board is going to come out, and then we are going to put the new one in, and hopefully when we turn it on, it doesn't pop a fuse like it has been before. So that is what we're working on next. All right, brand new T-Max board, installed, wired, per these instructions that were given to me by Andy Lawrence over in the UK. Everything looks like it should work. I have not tried it. So if there's a fire, you guys get to share in that experience with me. So transmitter's on. I need to check and see what I put K5 on, which is switch C, which is this guy right here. So this is the kind of the main ballast, and then these are the fine adjustments, pot 1 and pot 2. So middle, power's off, we're plugged in, let's see what happens. No smoke, no fire. The piston tank cycled. They're all the way retracted right now, which means this boat would be on the bottom of the pond, which I don't think we want to be in this particular case. Let's see what happens when I flick the switch. Surfaced. Okay, all right. Now I just need to figure out how this thing works. There is a separate chart in my online research. So it's working. It's cycling. Everything is looking promising. We're gonna tidy up some cables, and then figure out exactly how this fancy ballast system works. And just to remind you, 3 channels just for the ballast system. There's a 3-position switch and 2 potentiometers, variables, pots that control this crazy thing. So I am going to go grab those instructions, and we'll see how it goes. Logan's making progress. Lights are installed, and he's installing the overhead gauge, and then that's going to be pretty well done after he flattens the carpets. So, heartened by the success of the diving system, and after having researched what things do, so just so you know, the way that this is going to work on the transmitter is this switch, up is basically up, middle is neutral. This is your fine trim, so you can ballast it to perfectly neutral, and then this is your fore aft trim, so you can have it forward or backward using this, and then all the way down is park it on the bottom, which is pretty darn cool. I think trimming is going to be super interesting. We'll see how that works out. Anyhow, on to testing the watertight integrity of the dry box. Now, this is my setup. I got my compressor turned down really low in terms of pressure. It's about 20 psi right now. I've got a little tire filler majigger right here. And it's hooked up to this little test hose that's conveniently installed in the boat. The idea being, you squeeze the trigger, pressurizes the cylinder, and you can check for leaks, which there is one. So I'll pressure this up. You guys remember I had this Look at that. Dang it! So I'm going to have to grind all of this out, like take it right down, grind it right down, and fill it with filled epoxy. We went in with normal epoxy. My thought was that it would have filled the crack and sealed it up, but apparently that's not the case. I've not heard any other leaks, just this one. So we're going to focus on this one. These seals are good. These are, I think these might just have been replaced recently. They're nice and pliant. These I don't think are leaking, so I'm going to keep my fingers crossed that the watertight integrity is actually really good. And this may have happened in shipping, you know, if this got knocked around or whatever, but I'm going to grind the snot out of this and get it right down to the bare fiberglass, mix up a nice thick batch of filled epoxy, and see if we can get this thing back to waterproof once again. So I'm going to work on that. Probably take me to the end of the day. Looks like tomorrow we're going to be installing the salon, making sure that it fits everything, get the top and bottom hull glued together, masking, priming, painting, doing all sorts of fun stuff like that. Got to order some stainless M5 wing nuts. Well, you know what? I don't actually have to, because you don't need access to this at all the time. Just this one for your battery. And then the other thing, the way that this was built, it's got that big power unit inside with a switch, which is not waterproof. It's not magnetic. It's a 3-wire switch. I think I might just leave it like that. So you will have to crack into it to turn it on and off. But I kind of like that. It's like an idiot-proof kind of way of doing things, so that you make sure when you're done at the lake, you got to open up the waterproof compartment to turn it off. And you have to, at that time, check for leaks, make sure your battery's good and everything. It's too easy to kind of forget about that kind of stuff when your switch is convenient on the outside. So there you go. Knocked out payment for the periscope module a few minutes ago with Logan's help. So that is all done. I think that's all we're waiting for. One repair for the watertight compartment, periscope module, and we're going to be trimming this bad boy. So leaving today on a high note. All right, one more little quick snippet before I sign off. I used epoxy, 2-hour epoxy, and I put a little bit of tint in there and did a little dam with tape to stop it from like all pouring down there. One thing I found interesting, there was no valve in here. So that means basically the tire cap, a little plastic cap, was holding pressures, because when the piston tank cycles, this entire thing pressures up quite a bit. And, you know, if it leaks out of here, when the pistons cycle back, they would suck water through there. That's not cool. What the heck? So, got a new valve. We're going to throw it in there. Hopefully it threads in and seals nicely. We'll find out. But I'm just going to kind of leave things sit here overnight. Let it all cure up, get hard, and then we'll pick things up in the mañana. Tuesday. Yeah, it is Tuesday. Tuesday. That's like 11:15. Let's see. What did we do? Tested the Typhoon this morning, and there's a little pinhole leak in one of the lids, so I'm going to double check that. But other than that, the repair held, so that looks really good. We worked on our stem boat. We're assembling all of that. We got the motors installed, got the pump installed, waiting on a radio, waiting on a 8-pin connector. That should be today, hopefully. So by tomorrow, I want that thing in the water so that we can put out for professional printing, 3D printing of the hull. So that's going on, and we're going to wiring for Nautilus. The hull's ready to get buttoned up. We're basically ready to go here. The salon's been installed. Logan did a super job on that thing. So I just did a final test, checked all the lighting circuits, everything is working, so I'm Now flip it over, put it together, and then we can really start having some fun. And Logan, what are you working on?
Just finished installing the ballast servo in there.
Yeah, I'm super excited that you knocked that out. That's a tricky bit of engineering in there. So yeah, you got the ballast thing going, and then you need to straighten out linkages in that ballast tank. It's all bent and mangled. And what do you got? You got speed controllers installed, servos are installed.
Pitch controller's in. It's not hooked up to anything, but it's
Yeah.
it's gonna be.
And Ed gave you a radio, right?
Yep.
So yeah, a high-tech 4-channel.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we decided we're not going to do forward dive planes, right?
Yeah, we're gonna hook those up to the pitch controller.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So there you go. Rooting and tooting and getting it on. So hopefully next half an hour Nautilus will be buttoned up, and then we'll start throwing some paint on things. So we're kind of excited. We got another package from Mike Wood, who gave us that Seaview stuff the other day. He sent another gift for Logan. A little off topic, apparently, so we're going to check it out.
So far, we've gotten the German Tiger 1.
German Tiger 1, 16th scale. Main battle tank with sound, light. Oh, airsoft. This one shoots pellets and smoke.
We've also got a How to Begin Airbrushing.
DVD?
Do we even have a way I could watch this?
I don't know. We'll figure something out. Oh, that's
Screws
kind of
tanks,
cool.
all armored vehicles.
That's pretty cool.
Actually, my old college roommate, he's actually pretty into like armored vehicles from the past. He'd probably get a kick out of a lot of these as well.
Very cool. Oh, thanks, Mike. We got to bust into that, and we'll drive it around the shop here. Get your big head out of the way. You swivel the turret.
It's a good little sound action there.
Yeah.
Like most of these that you turn on, it's like a freaking.
Wow.
Oh, it even has a flickering red light by the
Machine gun, yeah. Well, I think we got to weather the snot out of this thing. Make it look like well used. End of the day on Tuesday. I mean, it feels later in the week than that. Customer got a hold of me, and we are going to be doing the closed breathers for the boat. So we have all of that information. You can put that down. Gonna base coat it out tomorrow and probably start weathering. Got to order micro switches and work on a display stand and all sorts of stuff for that. I worked on my console for my plane, my poor shattered console. Hopefully that'll cure up tomorrow. I'm reinforcing it and sand it, paint it, make it look super awesome. Tomorrow, Nautilus. Logan's going to keep going on Kilo. And I got to start putting Sharky together. So that is probably what we're going to work on. Happy Wednesday! Logan is going for his final surgery on his crown this morning. So it's just me in the shop. We've got lots going on, and just coming up on 7 right now. But I've been busy. Got my plane console primed out. Looks like I got to do just a little bit of filling here and here to make it nice and pretty. Man, oh man, you know, my plane was built in 1990, and that plastic is super like brittle now. So it's still better than paying whatever stupid price, $1,000 for a piece of plastic. But hopefully last me a little while in the plane. Got news back from the gentleman with the Nautilus, so we're going with closed breathers, and he wants to put some crew inside. So I'm going to hold off until tomorrow to do a little bit more work on this. I'm going to get Logan to paint the figures because he did such a stupendous job on fine detail painting. So he's going to work on that tomorrow. I just got a cylinder in from a customer. Now, I've not seen it. This is it sitting on the workbench. It's still sealed up. I'm not really sure what to expect. He said they accidentally dropped it in the water, which wouldn't be a problem if it was sealed, but apparently it wasn't sealed, so I don't know why they were taking their cylinder apart right next to the water. But at any rate, I have a hunch maybe there was just a catastrophic flood. There was maybe something missed in the pre-mission checklist. Let's see what we're working with here. All right, let's cut this thing open. At least it's well packaged. This actually looks like it might have been an old OTW packaging cylinder. There we go. Well, it's not moldy or anything. I don't know. Let's take a look and see what we're working with here. Well, right off the bat, I can tell these battery packs have been over discharged. They're all puffy. That's not good. Holy cow. All right. Yes, catastrophic flooding. Rust everywhere. These pumps are completely and utterly rusted through both sides. In terms of electronics, we've got servo reverser, we got the 2IS for the ballast, we got the receiver, and the electronic speed controller. If this receiver is shot, he is going to be out of luck. These are not manufactured anymore. I don't have any, so he may be spending $400 on a new radio. Who knows? These are not looking proper. I don't know what's going on with that. We got one servo way in and one servo way out. So this is like an early version 1 cylinder that we produced. All right, let's do some diagnostics here and see what the heck it is we're working with. So, one thing at a time. Battery pack completely shot. Tried to throw it on the charger. It came up with a bunch of connection issues. So just decided to see what voltage we were at, and the one pack is at 3.7 volts out of 11.1, which is ever so slightly low. The other one is, let's take a look here, 3.7 volts, which makes sense because these were hooked up in parallel to each other. Now these can be, with a great degree of work and energy, resuscitated. I'm not going to do that. I do not have the patience or wherewithal to nurse these back to health. So 2 new batteries are going to need to be supplied. We've got a guest. Logan showed up before his doctor's appointment to survey the debacle. All right, this is what we've got going on here. Everything is soaking wet. There's water all over this. You can see water on the speed controller here. So just chipped it wet. Didn't dry it out. You know, with this not working, the 2IS is plugged into the receiver, but it's not lined up. Like the pins aren't even lined up. It's plugged upward. So the power was connected to the signal port. That's super exciting. So I'm pulling all of this stuff apart and get this out. And first order of business, try and figure out if the receiver is functional. Because if not, it's going to be problematic. not super awesome. I'm gonna unplug all of this stuff. Geez, All right. Well, plug it all in. See what we're dealing with. Holy, got all the corrosion all over the plugs here. All right. Oh, I can smell ozone. That's never a good sign. It smells good. I like that smell, but it's never a good sign when you're talking about electronics. All right. Where are we at here? So, some good news. The 2IS module that controls the ballast is working, and the ballast servo is working. And the pumps are working, which is surprising because they're rusted all to hell. Servo reverser is working for the ballast tank. That's good. Receiver is working. Speed controller is working. Both servos completely shot. So, I think I know what happened. Throughout the course of, well, and here's some other weirdness going on. We have something plugged into channel 4 here, which is typically ballast. But in this case, it's fed through the conduit and going up to the forward compartment where the only thing is a battery. And the other end is just cut off and bare wires. So that's coming out. I don't know what the thinking was behind that. Maybe there was logic behind it. That's gone. So, if I plug this into channel 4, oh, I got that backwards. Actually, you know what? I'm going to put this on 5. Done. Okay. This is what I think happened. If you look at these pumps, you can see that they're spaced differently. This one is out about 1/4 inch from this one. Throughout the course of whatever, maybe the wires got pulled or whatever, but this pump was pulled back. Now it needs to interface with the bulkhead to create a seal. So what we've got in here now is a gargantuan, giant, massive hole that goes straight into the dry compartment from the ballast tank. So that's not cool. We are going to need to pull those, reseat those, double check and make sure both pumps are working and it wasn't just one pump that was working. So redo the seals, check the pumps, replace both servos, and I'm going to take the opportunity to do away with this old linear conversion, which only has about 8 millimeters of throw. So he'll get a new setup there. That'll work a little better. It'll be a little easier to get all the linkages going and everything. So I'm going to grab a couple servos, yank all this stuff, and then start pulling apart the pumps. Hey, just for fun, I've extracted the old servos. You can see a bunch of rust all up on the top there. I'm just curious. I want to see what it looks like inside this thing. When you crack open the servo, so in theory, this entire thing flooded, and it looks like the ballast servo was a little higher quality, sealed a little better. Maybe he got to it before it really got massively inundated, or more likely it was the boat was probably standing on its nose when it flooded because it was taking water on and the trim got all messed up, right? So that's fine. That's all working. The pumps are working too. So brushed motors are actually okay in the wet. Not super good to keep them in there. You should usually hit them with some water displacing formula after they've been run, but they're pretty durable, pretty bulletproof for the most part. All right, let's take a look inside here. I've taken both covers off. Oh, yeah, not super awesome. These are rusted all to heck and back again. And there's corrosion all over the boards. Not good. Not a wonder that they're not working. So let's put in the brand spanking new ones. And like I said, we're going to swap it out for a more conventional servo horn movement that's going to get a lot more travel, but we've got those intermediate shafts, so you're still going to retain that linear movement. Back to it. All right, new servos installed. I went back to a traditional servo horn intermediate shafty kind of thing. These were set up initially for the linear servos, and so they're in line with the center of the servo horn, which makes it a little bit more complicated, but with some creative intermediate shaft bending, we can see we've got nice, smooth, non-binding action of both of these servos. So, these are done. I'm going to unplug this, unplug this, unplug this. I'm going to let the silicone cure, set that aside, and now we got to replace refurbish the pumps, and then we'll be closer. Okay, progress. Apologize for the noise outside. We got some tree guys cutting down some trees, literally outside my shop. Got the servo tester hooked up to the new pump. So, did some testing. One of the two pumps was dead, non-functional. So, not good. The other one seems to be perfectly fine. I cleaned them both up. Of course, not knowing that wasn't working. I happen to have another air pump of the same diameter, but slightly different dimensions. This actually moves a little bit more air, so should work really good. But I got it all hooked up and seems to be working. It's drawing air, blowing it into the tank. I am going to need to wait to test everything in terms of watertight integrity until all of the adhesive cures. And so that'll probably be, I'm thinking tomorrow, but from a functional perspective, servos work, receiver works, ballast system works, motor works, everything now works. Good progress today. So, cylinder is basically done curing. We will pressure test that tomorrow morning and make sure that it's holding pressure, but all the functions have been tested. Everything is working perfectly. I have spent the last, half a day, most of the day, working on super fun stuff. Let's take a look. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Sharky 2.0 is taking shape. Beautiful hull finish here. Just got a little bit of filling and sanding to do on 3 seams. Unlike the last Shark that needed 800 and fiberglass everything. This is PETG and it's like almost 6 millimeters thick. So it's super solid. And we talked about this before. New propulsion. Take a look at this bad boy. You can see right through there the opening for the new thrusters. So these were all cut, bent, shaped, filleted, sanded. They look pretty freaking cool if you ask me. From the front you really can't see, but they're blowing out at 40 degrees from the center line there. I think we're going to get some pretty awesome thrust at this angle, which is going to provide our steering. And the other thing I'm super excited about is how this tail turned out. So all of the brackets and everything were all part of the prints. So unlike last time, we just bolt this together now. Last time we had to fabricate custom brackets for each section. This, slip it, pin it, done. It's awesome. And it's like super smooth, as you can see. Tails printing right now. I've got to do the belly and one little piece here that didn't print, the bracket that comes out here to mount the tail section on. But we're basically getting to the point where I can track down all my parts and get the watertight box. Now, like I mentioned before, this is a vastly superior build compared to what I did last time. Simplified, way more reliable. The big thing with that last one is those huge fins and getting high-powered servos to actuate them and everything was a pain in the butt, and they weren't exceptionally reliable. That's all been done away with. So primarily this Shark is going to be a surface runner, but the way I engineered this, the pectoral fins will go on like this. Can't really see it, but they will be adjustable. So there'll be a bolt on the bottom and you can set the angle. So if you want to dive, just give it a little bit of forward movement. Dynamic diver pulls itself down under the water. You can adjust your depth with your throttles. I think it's going to work really, really good. So, and based on the last Shark, the Shark actually wanted to dive just because of the hydrodynamic forces across the hull. So I think this is going to work really, really good. I'm going to be focusing on this. Again, this is for our customer. It needs to be delivered it's like a friend of Renee's, so got shunted in front of the queue a little bit there. Has to be delivered before Christmas, just like the Nautilus there. So I'm excited. I'm going to work on filling and sanding, filling tonight the seams, and tomorrow we'll be able to sand it. And criminy, we might even be able to get this thing in primer here by the end of the week. Coolness. Thursday morning, and we are testing cylinder. Uh-oh.
Didn't even dunk it in all the way. We have a massive leak right along the back blow ring. Doesn't feel seated all the way.
Where's that coming from? Oh, okay. I'll bet you there's a little chunk of sand or grit or something.
Yeah.
Right here. All right.
Actually, I can see it.
A little chunky. Just maybe put it over here and then we can do it right here. Round two. Solid. Like two little bubbles there. I think that's just got to torque the end cap down a little bit. I think we're good. All right. Let's see how long it takes for him to break it. Okay, it's time to put our little stem boat in the water. And man, is this thing ever ugly. I did such a fast job on this because I'm supposed to have like 4 of them built by the end of the month, but that's not going to happen. We're going to test it now. I don't know if it's going to float. I don't know if it's going to sink. I don't know what it's going to do, but it works on the bench. So let's see what happens. Turn this on. Oh, I need a magnet. I got to go grab a magnet to turn it on. This has got a magnetic on-off switch. All right, we got green light, which means she's up and running. I swipe the magnet. Now we're going to see what happens when we put it in the water. It floats. It's a little forward heavy. So I've got to reverse channel 1. Hold on a second. Oh yeah, baby. So this is a good lesson not to rush things. Didn't secure the upper hull, and the upper hull provides the flotation. So the idea is everybody battles each other with these pumps, fills the enemy boat up with water. It sinks up to the deck line, and then you drive it back, and then you can reset, pump it out. I didn't secure the deck, so when it sank, the top came off, and then everything flooded, and it was all terrible. I'll dry it out. It'll be completely fine. The good news is it floated at roughly the correct water line, and just before it went down, it did stay positively buoyant and below the level that it would have swamped at. So everything looks good. I think we can move forward to stage 2, which is professionally printed parts and tidying up all the electronics and all of that stuff. But we're going to move the center of mass back a little bit. I think we're going to shuffle the battery back about 1.5 inches or 2 inches, and I think we'll be good. Nearing the end of the day, got lots done on that stem boat. I would say it got pretty good results, kind of.
Yeah, I mean, considering it was like one small fault of our own, also have
Bolt
stuck
the
the
top
together.
down. Yeah.
But it functioned perfectly up to that point.
The trim was the big thing. That was the biggest thing, and we got that figured out. Talked to the customer. We got everything figured out. We're going to get things. We have to build a fleet of like 6 of those things. So Logan is going to be priming Sharky. They can already tell we're going to have some areas to touch up here, but primer is what you need in order to find out what you need to do. So we're going to hit them with some primer, see what they end up looking like, and then in the meantime, I am going to start work on the Watertight box. Here, we got waterproof connectors. We got a big 7-amp lithium polymer battery pack, thrusters with some custom mounting brackets that I manufactured, huge 80-amp electronic speed controllers. That's it. That's everything that goes in that box. There's no servos, no nothing. I'm super excited. And then Logan got our little dudes. Our little dudes painted up. Can't say he wants to lay with. There we go. Oh yeah, Ned looks a little zombie-ish, but we're gonna brush him up.
Yeah, I'll be fixing those tomorrow morning, just adding a little bit of flesh to the faces, because when I added the wash to give a lot more detail, it ended up bundling into the face quite a bit, and now a lot of them have broken noses, and
Yeah.
for some reason Nemo's got a bloody nose. Not sure how that happened.
Actually, I think Nemo looks really good. I think really just Ned looks a little. Just tighten up his shirt a little bit, and he'll be good. But at any rate, picked up some paint for Nautilus. That's going to get painted up tomorrow. Maybe today. Maybe we'll throw some paint on it today. I don't know. We'll see. I got some display stands to make display stand from. Lots done, even though it doesn't feel like we got lots done. I don't know. I was really hoping to have trimmed out Typhoon today. Maybe tomorrow. And I know I promised that Sea View was going to hit the bench this week. Looks like it'll be first part next week. So be patient. Good things are coming. Happy Friday, everyone. Back in the shop. It's a little after 9. We've been busy. Logan is prepping up Sharky, so he sanded the snot out of him. We're getting everything nice and smooth, and we're coating the entire exterior with a thickened and tinted resin. So it's going to get this like nice, smooth texture. Going to get rid of all the striations, and we can do this because really there's not a lot of really tiny, intricate details. So I think this is going to work really, really well. Looks good so far. He's got the pectoral fins done there. He's going to work on the tail sections. And I did a stupid. I spent 30 hours printing the tail and forgot to scale it down from the previous shark. So now we've got a gargantuan giant tail that I spent 30 hours printing. That gets to go there. That was stupid. But whatever. Showed you these thrusters before. Those are going to work really good. And this morning I started working on the control box. This is going to go together really quick. Big 7.3 amp hour lithium polymer battery pack. And 2 big 80 amp electronic speed controllers, waterproof connection. We're going to get the mixer in there. I never showed this to you before. This is the finished console for my plane. That turned out so good. Compared to what it was, this is going to be like limousine quality stuff. And put a wash on Nautilus. So that's just kind of curing up. I went for a dark wash with just a little bit of a green tint. I'm not sure how the camera's picking that up or whatever. But this is like step one of many. We're going to be adding some rust and streaking and all sorts of fun stuff for that thing. So Logan's going to finish up painting that. Man, that looks good. I like that. That looks really good. And then we got to run out and grab some pies that we were going to do for Thanksgiving for next week. And while he works on that for right now, though, you can see we've got Typhoon back on the bench. There's a little tiny pinhole leak coming from right here. I got to figure out what's going on. I think probably just a little goober trapped underneath the seal right here. And then the other thing I want to do is put a remote access switch, not an electronic one, but just a physical switch through a bellows seal that we can turn the thing on and off. Putting it inside is just, it's stupid. Not good. And before you guys all smart ass comment, oh, why don't you use a magnetic switch? And, you know, Engel has a magnetic switch or a remote switch. Yes, I'm well aware of that. Thank you for your input. But this boat already had a big power distribution block in here that uses a 3-wire switch to control power to the whole boat, which powers not only the receiver but the entire boat through one little micro switch. I am not going to rewire the entire power distribution system of this boat just to put a switch in. So I'm just going to put like a little arm, a little switch in there that's going to turn everything on and off. So I'm going to work on that while Logan works on that. I'm going to start making some things happen this morning. So this is what happens when you mix up a little bit too much resin and you don't use it fast enough.
Note the sides of the container now buckling inward due to the incredible heat that it's going through. Yeah, that's it's pretty hot. But man, Sharky is looking slick. Love it. Go back and get his chin a little bit, but he's looking good.
Oh yeah, and right here. Anyhow, yeah. Pec fin's looking good. That section is actually looking really good too.
It kind of looks like the symbiote from Spider-Man with the big like tendril
goobers. Yeah, we'll have to trim and sand, but anyhow, a lot better than the striation, you know, in these bare parts. But cool stuff. So we had a little surprise waiting for us next to the garage once we got back from picking up our pies. Got a phone call from UPS yesterday saying that they had found a lost package that we lost like 3 months ago. It was Perry Newcastle frigate and a Kilo model kit in here along with some extra parts. We shipped it and a day later they're like, we lost it. And so we had to go through the whole claims process and got compensated and customer got looked after. So this is not expected, but the guy said that it was not in excellent shape. So they've reboxed it. We didn't ship it like this. There's a wooden box in there somewhere, I think. So we are going to split into this and see what it is that we are dealing with. So 3/4 inch thick plywood box, totally busted open. There's a lot of loose stuff in there rattling around. Oh,
oh.
Shoot.
Hey, you want something bad? actually, here, pass me the camera. Shark. Look in the back corner. All the loose parts in that back corner.
No.
That's like half of the kilo kit is sitting back there.
Well, no, this is all the Perry frigate. It's going to be atomized.
Ready?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
There's
Wow.
parts that are falling off the top of the boat, or the top of the box.
This is not salvageable. Completely and utterly atomized. What do you think, Gracie? What'd you think? Are there lizards in there? Huh? So, something we noticed that's like super interesting. Like when we packaged this, it was all, as you can see, bolted down with these like cross members and all of this stuff. These screws have been removed. Someone actually unscrewed this cross brace, both there and there. They're completely missing. They're not broken, they're not sheared, they're removed. Somebody took the time to unscrew it. So I am confused, and I don't even know how or if we would get any resolution to this. But when we shipped this, you can see we've got these bolt holes right here. These screw holes. We screwed the stand right down to the box. But all of those screws have been removed.
Not just the ones up front, but the ones in the middle.
The middle and the back. There was like 6 of these things.
We also had several other bags that were glued in here with wood glue.
Yeah, all of
one.
all of these were glued in so that they couldn't move or shift. Somebody got into this.
Yeah, you can see scuff marks all along the sides, here and down here, where the wood glue had been holding the plastic bags in, and they were ripped clean off.
Somebody, I don't know, maybe I'm being a conspiracy theorist. It almost seems like somebody decided they wanted it. They thought it'd be cool, opened it up, took it out, and they're like, oh shit, this is more than I want. Somebody will find it. I don't know. Threw it back together again. I don't know. Wow. All right, well, all we can do is extract the good stuff. We might get a few dollars worth of parts out of there.
Got the radio and the receiver back, that's always good.
I don't know where we're going to put this stupid box now. Well, here you go. Everything salvageable from that big crate. $2,000 Newcastle model. Completely smashed, utterly broken. All we managed to salvage is motor, universal, with a couple weights, speed controller, pitch controller, and a prop. That's it. But the good news is the 96 scale kilo is immaculate. No damage whatsoever. We did a good job bundling that up. And there were some 96 scale Oscar props and bushings and a drive shaft. I don't remember what I did to the drive shaft. From another order that went with that box. So that's it. That's everything that we managed to salvage. Oh, and the radio.
Receiver and transmitter.
2.4 gigahertz radio link radio. So, I mean, I guess this is kind of gravy, a little bit of compensation for all the drama with that shipment. We'll list this up on the site if anybody's looking for a 96 kilo in stock, ready to go. A little bit of silver lining to the whole situation. End of the day, wrapped up another week. I don't think I got as much done as we wanted to. I don't know. Still got a lot done though. Okay, recap. You remember what you all worked on?
Well, I mean, obviously progress with Sharky.
Yeah. Let's take a look. So this finish is like beautiful. This turned out really good. And actually the glass beads that we put in make them kind of like iridescent too. It was pretty cool. It looks neat. But he'll need a good sanding. And then we'll be ready. The tail is printing. The new version of the tail should be ready tomorrow morning. And the last little whatchamajoohickey in the back bracket thingy will be done in 3 hours. But yeah, he looks pretty darn badass. I'm excited. So I'll be mounting motors and stuff early next week. That our tank is going to get weathered up next week. Maybe. We should. I don't think it'd take long. I think it would look good. Nautilus. You'll notice it's looking pretty darn cool. Did the wash, did some rusting, did some streaking. Weird thing though, I had these windows all installed and masked, and the plastic crazed like all over the place, which is weird because they were just friction fit. So I don't know what happened, but at least you guys get a chance to see the really cool details up in the wheelhouse before I put it on. And then we got our salon area. So finish that up next week. That'll be done next week for sure. Typhoon. I shaved a little goober off of the seal in this forward compartment seal. So hopefully that's sealed up. I pressured it up again, and it sounds like there's a little tiny leak coming from somewhere up here. I can't tell where, but we'll have to get it in the water. And this is the new switch, the new waterproof switch to turn it on and off. So you just push, pull, and that turns it on and off. Super easy. Hopefully the new periscope module gets here early next week too. Got shipping confirmation that it's going to my old shop. Little mistake on Engel's part. They're shipping it to my old shop. So I got to try and intercept it somehow. Other than that, I think we just shipped a bunch of stuff out. Orders out. Jason said he's got a couple cylinders to drop off early next week. From my perspective, Renee and I are heading out to Galveston for a little getaway this weekend. So I don't think we're going to be back until Tuesday. So short week next week.
Can't think of anything besides a few like obvious safety tips whenever you're doing this stuff. Like when soldering, realize that even if you turn your soldering iron off, it's hot.
Yeah. Oh, and don't drill your finger. Yeah, I was holding the piece of plastic and zipped right through there. Bled like a booger. Not good. So yeah, solder guns remain hot after you unplug them, and don't drill your finger. There you go. Safety tip of the week. Okay. Oh, hey, before I forget, Dive Tribe tomorrow, or maybe today by the time you do it, on Saturday at any rate. So don't miss out. If you're not already a Dive Tribe member, it is absolutely awesome. Every 2 weeks we get together and talk subs. We have topics that we talk about, either on an advanced level or a basic level. It's pretty darn cool. There's usually around 20 of us that hang out. More, the merrier. We want to see you there. All the information's on my site under the Dive Tribe tab up at the top. So with that, we are going to let you go. On behalf of myself, Bob Martin, the RCSubGuy, and
Logan, RCSubKid.
And
Tracy, the dog.
The RCSubDog.
The subwoofer.
Have a great weekend, and we'll catch you next time.